Well, you know what makes me happy? This week in the Crystal Chronicles podcast, welcome everybody. Welcome back to this week on, what is it, week 5? I'm already having so much fun, I forgot what week it was. We have, you know what? I was going to say Randy first, but I pointed to Nick. So we're going to say Nick, and nobody knows. I'm not even talking into the microphone.
Not only are you not talking into the microphone, but, you know.
Take it away. Portland Materia Cup 2025. What a shocker.
Talk about Ryan Chen's list here. It's very, very fun.
Dude, the K-pop materia hunters?
I mean, you know, it's a big popular thing these days.
You tell me. Oh, you know what?
20 EX bursts and 25 summons in the deck, you know?
Yeah, forgetting that there are 7 forwards in this list. 7. Bro, 1 Siren, 3 Unes, 3 Chaos.
Yeah,
don't forget about those LBs.
Yeah, as long as he has a way to like not have this Ico on board. Yo, the Siren does work because you're like canceling things that kill your Une or Chaos, right? Which will put summons in your break if you need to, and then you can play Ico, go get yourself an Arc and then use it for free. I mean, you have to use it for free anyway, but you know what I mean. You can use it without your Chaos if it's not on board for some reason.
Well, and that's what I was always thinking about with the Siren list. I'm like, you have to run a minimum amount of forwards to make Siren viable, right? So what is your core that you want to protect, and how do you use Siren to protect that?
I mean,
well,
this deck
that's
is
how
like
you do it.
No forwards, you know, so like it's almost for sure it's canceling whatever is targeting it.
That's just wild to me. Seeing this list, I'm just scrolling up and down. There's Kitty Main just popped up, showed up on the podcast. No, I'm blown away by 7 forwards. Like I know LB exists, but like the idea 7 forwards. You find me, that's your challenge for the week, that you find me another list that runs less than 8 forwards. I don't know.
I mean, this homie's not really trying to do damage. He's just like, you don't get to play the game until you have no deck. Get wrecked.
And like, unironically, placed number 1 out of 61 competitors. This deck outlasted 60 other. I mean, it's not entirely true, but like, it's better than 60 other decks.
I don't know if I mean, listen. The deck is clearly good. You know, we already know that Chark is a good deck, but gotta take it with a little bit of a grain of salt since this deck is being piloted by Ryan Chen, who's already won a Materia Cup this year.
He's
clearly built different. So, it's definitely got to be a combination of like the list and the pilot both being good.
Yeah, the man is a god amongst men. Let's just face it.
You know, all men were created equal.
Not this one.
And then Ryan Chen goes, "That's cute. That's a nice standard. You guys can stay over there." The list that kind of threw me off a little bit. And I was actually really proud to see it make, not that I play this, but Basch made a list. Michael Borland, Turbo Basch list. It's got the Fujin Raijin list. It's still running Yuna at 1. You know, I mean, if you're not going to ban it, run it. But like, it's an interesting list here. And I'm looking at this and I'm like, one of the things that I look for when I look at these lists in these tournaments is like, what's everybody playing? Amaterasu. What's everybody playing? What?
Dragon and Kusa.
Yeah. Like, these are all cards. These are all decks that we're expecting. We're expecting Chark. We're expecting Knights. We're expecting all these meta decks. And then when you see something that just stands out, that's an EO Sky thing.
Yeah.
I'm a wrestling nerd.
EO repaying to favor from Rhea Ripley last week.
Come at me in the comments. I'll do nothing about it. Like, I'm happy to see lists on here that aren't normally seen, and this is one of them. I'm extremely happy, to see something like that. That you just, I don't know.
Funny enough, I actually have experience with the Basch mill deck. I actually played it at the beginning of the season. Back then, it wasn't so much lightning, earth, and wind. It was actually lightning, earth, water. It was a fun little deck. It did great, and then Yuna appeared.
She did do that. She'd be doing that.
Yeah, all those autos that I thought I was going to resolve, yeah, that did happen.
You don't get those anymore.
Yeah, 100%. All those forwards that hit the board that were going to swing and attack, yeah, they just got doled.
I'm looking at this list, and I'm very unfamiliar with a lot of cards. For those of you guys who don't know, I took a couple years off because there's some bag in another server that got me all up in my feelings, and like I hated the game because of this head. We all know who I'm talking about. There's no way you're watching this podcast and you don't know who I'm talking about. But
it's okay.
I'm going
we don't have to talk about Bruno.
Oh, is it Bruno? Is that who you think it is?
We're better than this.
I hope that question was sarcastic, or we gotta shut it off. Well, we gotta shut the podcast off right now.
Absolutely not. No, snapback whiz. So I'm looking down at this Fran card, and I've wildly underestimated how valuable this is. It doesn't do anything on entry, so that's already going to rub a couple people the wrong way. But when she enters, I guess, no, she does something on entry. When you enter the field or attacks, play a category 12 character or 4 or less from your hand to the field. That's kind of nuts, brother.
Yeah. She's playing your backups for free if she gets to stay on board.
Yep. Play all your backups. Your backups are all your searchers or draw cards, etc., etc. So you're always getting some kind of tremendous value.
And she sets up your Ash really nice, so that the Ash is just a 2 cost coming in to buff your board and make them a lot harder to kill.
This is actually a wild list. I'm gonna save it. It didn't win, but that could be from a number of different reasons. I think this is a unique list that I'm gonna have to come back to moving forward.
To be fair, when you're running when the deck lists, I think Amaterasu was the most played card at 30, and you can Amaterasu her and kill her. That probably had a pretty huge impact.
I mean, that's true, but I don't think you need Fran for the deck to work. Decks don't really run off of a card that can free play something every turn.
No, definitely not.
Just crazy.
But it does need Basch. So without, like, if Fran doesn't play Grimace or what is it, the Larsa to search out Basch, you're not going to get the mill started. Without the mill, you're not getting the Fujin Raijin. And then Basch, even if you choose to do the mill, even if you miss Fujin and Raijin, you can add any Cat 12 card to your hand. So it's still giving you hand advantage in return. And the Basch is also reduced and becomes, what, a 2 cost or a 3 cost, as long as you control another Cat 12 character. So.
Also, just because the deck didn't win doesn't mean it can't be like good, because
Oh, for sure.
In card games, there's draws, and sometimes someone will have the Ama every time you try and play the Fran or whatever. Like, things like that can happen.
Yeah, shout out to our boy Adrian. Always miraculously has Ama in hand.
We don't cheat. That's fine.
Nobody even realized I left. Wow, the power of editing. So yeah, I think honestly this deck looks really neat. I'm going to save it for later. I think it's an interesting list. I like that it plays. I really like this Fran card. I may buy it not because there's boobs. Fucking like boobs.
Oh, so you want the full art just for that? I heard you.
Fucking nipples.
We weren't thinking about it until you said it, so
But now you can't unsee it. Editor, zoom in. Look at those things. They're there. Anyways,
watchers of this just Losing our minds.
Just
Chill out,
everything's
brother.
about nipples. No, I think it's a neat list. I'm gonna look more into it. I don't know. Like currently, I am building another deck that I don't know is going to be super well. I'm going to stick with this deck for a while. I like the Fran. I like this deck. This deck looks neat. I'm going to keep an eye out for it. I don't know what I feel about it just yet, but I'm going to look more into it.
I mean,
Yeah.
Turbo Basch has been a thing for a little bit. I just think that they got a pretty decent support boost with that Ash. Like Larsa pretty good, but the new Ash is I think she plays even better than she reads.
Yeah.
Speaking of things playing better than they read,
Let's go
vice-
back to what was it? Week 2 when we brought up Rala as card of the week. Well, guess who's making a return guest appearance? Shout outs to Rala. Hey, bruh, I ain't gonna lie to you. We missed on that one. That card sucks.
it reads better than it plays.
100%. Through playtesting, designing decks around it, it underperformed terribly.
Which is unfortunate because I really feel like this card has a lot of potential. I feel like avoiding a point of damage. I feel like dulling and breaking some shit. Every time you attack, it breaks. Every time, like, you can Amaterasu it and it lives. Like, there's so much potential with this card. Just to hear that these two heroes up top said that it's a wild miss. That sucks.
It's just too easy to remove, and I still like. Part of it is that I don't think me and Randy played decks that necessarily give it its most, or its best shot at living up to its potential. You would need to be playing something that could both dull and reactivate it potentially. So something playing a lot of wind would get you there.
Wind, maybe more in a earth deck. You could play. I believe it's Carbuncle. You can dull it and make it untargetable by summons or abilities or something. You get to protect it.
Yeah.
Just
or
nothing
like
that we're
Nick
building.
said, wind.
There's like a slight opportunity in Knights because Charlotte can protect it, but it's still not doing what you really want it to do. It's almost never going to last more than a turn in those decks. And the main thing is when I was playing it in multiple decks to see how it felt, every time I drew it, I went, ugh, I don't want to see this right now. I wish I had one of my other actual engines or staples for the deck I'm playing.
I also had the same problem. It was like every time I saw it, one, either I would have rather played another card in hand, or just like Nick said, I would have rather have seen everything else.
Yeah. The deck I thought that I played that would do the best in is Scions, but in the because you can dull a Scion to give something haste so it could swing that turn to break something. But every time I had that card in hand, I thought I wanted Vrtra instead. I played that deck into you, Randy. And, Vrtra on board, it instantly makes the board significantly stronger. Even if I can't break something because something like Yuzuki's on board, the fact that you can just dull things and move them out of the way for you to still get swinging is so good.
For sure. 10 out of 10.
I think I'd rather just have that than Rala and Scions.
Plus, if you really needed to get Yuzuki out of the way or something, you could still Cloud LB. Yeah. So it was like there were just other opportunities. Like I said, every time you see Rala, there were just better options, and unfortunately, Rala reads excellent, right? All of the effects are good. The action ability to reactivate, excellent. But all in all, everything else was just more important than Rala.
By a lot, to be honest.
And it's a tragedy because, like I said, I really looked forward to that card. I really thought that card was real. I don't want to say dominate the format. I just really thought that was going to be a lot more prevalent, a lot more prominent, a lot more
oomph.
Maybe you're meant to play it in something like Mono Fire to get over the unbreakable stuff because you can give her haste with Goblin. and fire doesn't have things that can do the full break the way that other decks have access to. So maybe that's what you have to think about. Like I think maybe Rala's there to make up for a weakness for other decks, like holes that they don't have. Because if you play Mono Fire into like, the 3 wall or into Yuzuki, you're having a terrible time.
Yeah,
Maybe
unless
that's where she comes in.
maybe.
I'm thinking wind water. Right? Have a lot of
Wind
cards in
water.
your hand. Have a lot of cards in your hand so that you can pitch to reactivate her. Wind so you can reactivate, water to gain the card advantage. Maybe based on your play testing, I'm thinking that has to be the best way. If not, haste with fire.
The problem with water is you have access to the 3-cost lightning, which is RFGs. So if you're having trouble with a big warrior board with Yuzuki on board, you just play lightning and you're good. And that's less investment into the play.
Yeah.
It does it right away, and it's still a water card, so you can pitch it for something else if you don't need it. Rala is just like if you're playing into a deck that doesn't have that protection and you don't really need her, you're like it's just a brick.
I think I will revisit the Rala, right? I think like we said, playing like a lot of these earth protection cards that dull will both help Rala I guess escape the fucking terminal fate that she unfortunately had during all of my playtests. And the dulling as well as giving that protection to Rala for the turn could set up some things.
Do you think it's an us versus? Do you think it's a? I don't want to say skill gap because that makes us sound shit, and clearly I'm the shit. I'm the shit of us three. But do you think that? Do you think that it's we aren't seeing something like when Una first came out? Everybody was like, some people were like, "Oh, this card's dookie. Ah, this is ass," and then it had a good list. And then it had a better list, and then it had a better list, and then it had a best list. Do you think we're just not at that level yet, that people haven't had enough time to experiment with it? Or do you think it's just ass?
Players, I think the top players for sure haven't really been experimenting with Rala too much yet. However, like I said, I'm not really one to play Earth or Wind. I have been tampering with it because of Rala. And I think my list has been a little tight because of what I'm playing. And I didn't include, like I said, the Carbuncle or like the protection cards that dull. I think that was really a big thing. But again, when you divert too many resources away from your main engine, it causes a problem.
It's important to know for clarification that the 3-wall wouldn't protect Rala because it only does it for the Earth cards. And I don't think that using a Mist Dragon to dull your Rala to protect it and break something is like the best use of either of those cards.
I agree.
So I don't know how accurate this is yet. However, for the 2025 season, Rala has been seen with Tyro, Susano, Gilgamesh FFBE, Heian, Shadow Lord, Warrior of Light, and a whole bunch of the 12 cards. I don't know what that tells you about her presence, but I'm seeing that it's probably
they're playing it in the 12 because of Heian, because Heian can reactivate and have things attack twice, so potentially Rala can attack twice in turn and break 2 things. But the problem is the 12 suck. So
yeah, 10 out of 10. 12,
like
one of the worst archetypes I've seen in the game.
You mean 12 out of 10?
Nah, 12 out of 12.
12 out of 12. Terrible. The thing is, if they ever make better support for that archetype, like reprint cards that are just better cards for that job, then Rala could do well in that because the Heian would work pretty well with her, I think. But I just don't. It's just not like that's a good spot for her to go to, but not a good enough deck for people to carry yet. I think. In my opinion, I really feel like Rala is there to overcome a hole in something like fire that can't break things like Yuzuki. But that's about it. right now.
Yeah, which, as it stands, if you're going to put the slot, right, for Rala in Mono Fire to get rid of Yuzuki, you might as well just put in the 5-cost Bahamut. Damage can be reduced. It gets over Yuzuki. It's reduced by 2 during your turn, so you can quite literally cast it for 3 instead of 4 like you would Rala, and it still solves that problem. So you actually get more value from playing the Bahamut.
Well, speaking of value, those of you who paid very close attention last week noticed that I mentioned a card for about 2 seconds and then passed on it. I want to take this opportunity to look at this. I'm getting better at pointing every week, man. Every week. Nick, talk to me about Vrtra. We had mentioned it last week, and I mentioned it because you mentioned it to me, and you didn't want to talk too much about it yet. How are you feeling about it now?
Well, I was talking about it a little bit earlier, but I just feel like it really felt like in testing, whenever I played Vrtra on board and I had things I could swing, I could literally see both of my opponents go, "Oh shit."
Yeah.
Well, what now? What now, Batman? Because the fact they can move things out of your way to swing in and also potentially break things depending on your need and the moment, and how good the Scion's effects are when they do swing in, like the Ascendian that can recurse from Breakzone, for instance. Just having the ability to move things and kill things at the same time with Scions, so you're not so dependent on the Y'shtola to get things off of your opponent's board, is extremely valuable in that deck, I feel like.
And Vrtra also comes with protection for itself, so it's
Yes.
it's a complete package.
Which is like a big reason why it's better than Rala, because it comes with like it just can't be targeted by summons, period, and it's untargetable by opponent's abilities until the end of your opponent's turn. So you get to go until your next turn before things can kill it outside of like a Shantotto or something.
Now,
Yeah, that
as a rules question, EX summons can still target this, correct?
Nope, because
Oh.
EX summons, even though it's on EX burst, still count as the effect of the summon. So even an EX burst Odin couldn't kill Vrtra.
Yeah, it can't get past field abilities. That's why Charlotte and things like that still work.
Gotcha. I think it's interesting. I think it's very, very, very powerful. I'm glad that it doesn't stay with can't be chosen by your opponent's summons or abilities until like period, like static. I think if that's the case, this thing absolutely is mind-blowingly busted. So the fact that you get one whole turn, my turn if I played it, and your turn when you until the end of your turn, the opponent's turn. Like I've got some time, right? And I think to your credit, Nick, those Lightning players, and I'm a fan of Lightning plays cards myself.
Oh yeah, the 3-cost Y'shtola has a special that does, I believe,
board.
9k to the entire opponent's board.
The problem with that is that she's very vulnerable to getting dull frozen before she is able to do her thing. So you could do things
Titan
like
or XYZ, yeah.
Yeah, so you could do things like force something if you don't have much on board, like with a Laswell or a Titan, to see if the opponent will like waste the special for 1 or 2 forwards instead of waiting for something more valuable, and then you can get her off the board. And for a long time, if you weren't able to get the Y'shtola special going, the deck just kind of stalls out. But if you have Vrtra and you have all these hasters in Ascendian, and potentially, or with Y'shtola on board, with Ascendian and Y'shtola to be able to dull to give other things haste, you can be swinging out with 2 or 3 Scions the turn it comes out, and you're killing 1 or 2 things. You're getting damage in. You're getting maybe get some recursion. If you warp Ascendian for the 1 and then play Vrtra the next turn when he comes in, then you get 2 off of him. Like, there's so many ways to put like real pressure on your opponent with Scions with Vrtra
Yeah.
on board and available to you.
Vrtra also makes Alizé, who is like a 5k, more of a imposing threat because of that 7k damage and dull immediately on swing. So even though it's a small little 5k body, that's it adds up real quick. For sure, 10 out of 10.
Not 12 out of 10.
No.
No.
Much better
Nah.
than 12.
Nah, we did that joke. Nah, we're done.
Scion's still the
we're
goat
done.
of the 14 archetypes for sure.
Yeah, 14 out of 14. You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
Which is better than 12. Drive safe. Drink plenty. Well, you know what? Let's take a step back. Thank you to Materia Hunter. Thank you for all of you guys who are watching. Thank you for those of you who have commented down below. Thank you for being a part of the channel, part of this podcast. Drive safe, drink plenty, stay hydrated, and I'll see you guys in the next lobby.
You and this cheesy ass grin, brother. Hot take, Taco Bell sucks.
No!